This podcast is brought to you by Hoare Chartered Accountants. Hoare Chartered Accountants are based in Galway City and are a leading provider of audit, accountancy and taxation services. For more information, visit hoarecharteredaccountants.ie. Now we're continuing our build-up to the Senior Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Athenry Senior Hurling Captain Shane Quirke to look ahead to his side's championship campaign. First off, Shane, is it relief to be in senior hurling this year?
Yeah, definitely. I think the last few years it's been our main goal, and we haven't been able to get there. It's kind of where we want to be. We want to see how we can compete against the top teams. So we're looking forward to it this year. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a new level of hurling, but we're looking forward to it. That's what we're there to do.
And how do you feel the league went for you?
The league, it was okay. I'd say if you talk to Niall, we wouldn't be overly worried about results and things. He got a good opportunity to try a lot of new lads. We had a lot of young lads coming through this year, so that was kind of a big positive we took from it, that we got to play a lot of lads, try lads out new positions and things like that. So
just with that then, on the turnover of your squad in Athenry, have you been able to hold on to most players this year?
Yeah, we've been able to hold on to most of the lads from last year. I think one or two lads gone away, but we've had a few young lads coming through as well, and they've brought massive energy to training, and they'll definitely be pushing for spots in the team.
For you yourself, do you think, I suppose, going from Senior B to Senior Hurling Championship now, do you think it's much of a step up?
Yeah, I'd say it's the standard of hurling. Everything's going to be a lot higher. I know sometimes playing Senior B, you're playing teams, and it's just very difficult to win them one way or another. It might turn into a bit of more of a scrap around the middle, whereas Senior A, there's going to be a lot more physicality, and there's going to be the standard of hurling is going to be a lot higher. So we're just going to have to see how we can handle it and how we get on.
Just with that, what do you think's happened to turn things around in Athenry? Because if you consider 12 months previously to last year, you're in a relegation final and then going to winning Senior B.
Yeah, I suppose like Niall's over us now, and John Hardy's coming in doing the hurling with us. And I suppose the big thing with John is every day you go down training, you're just poking ball constantly for an hour and a half. I remember the first session we had with him, when it was over, we all just kind of looked at each other and think, "Jeez, I've never hit so many balls down the training." So he just does the simple things, and he wants them done right, and it really showed off for us last year. When you do the simple things right, you can go a long way.
It feels at the minute that there's kind of real momentum behind the club, even with the juniors last year getting up to intermediate as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was great. I know last year, even we were watching the juniors hurling any time, most of them lads were down training with us every day, and you could kind of got the sense of their standard was very high, because anybody that comes down train with us, they're everybody's well able to go. So when you see them playing, you know well the work that they've put in, and so they got the reward too. So it's good to see that as well.
Just looking at your group in the Senior Hurling Championship, Mike Cullen, Gort and Thomas's, what are you expecting in that group?
We're expecting three tough matches. We've played, I know, Mike Cullen and Gort in the last kind of few years, and they've both beaten us. So and then Thomas's, obviously everybody knows what to expect with them. So we know what the big challenge ahead of us, but we're just gonna give it all and see what happens, see where we end up.
What is the aim for Athenry this year in the Senior Hurling Championship?
Sorry?
What's the aim this year for Athenry in the Senior Hurling Championship, do you feel?
Well, I suppose for us, we just kind of take it one game at a time. Every game as it comes, and obviously every game you go out to win it. So that's a goal. But looking at it now before anything starts, I don't think we're not going out with a specific goal to end up in a final, or we're just going to take it every game as it comes, focus on who we're playing, and do the best we can on the day.
Do you think it's helped Shane having the large majority of the squad with you all year round? I know obviously Jason Rabbit was gone with the seniors, but to have the large majority of the squad for Athenry all year round.
Yeah, definitely. I think it kind of brings us closer. We're all doing the pre-season together. We're all playing the leagues and the challenging matches together, and when you have all that work done when it comes to championship, and you look to the lad to your left, to your right, you know that they put in the same work as you. You know, it fills you with that confidence, and you know that they're going to do whatever they can for the team, and it really drives you on.
Just in terms then of the split season, like it is still a very long club season when you consider when you go back and everything and only getting underway on August 10th. Do you feel that's working or would you like to see it altered?
Uh, I don't know. It definitely is a long year. You know, when you're starting back in January and February, and you know there's going to be no championship for 6 or 7 months. But I don't know. I suppose we're lucky. Niall's very good at organising challenge matches, and the matches we played, you know, they're high quality. So once you're playing matches, you're kind of happy out. But I know at the same time, I think my first year was when you would have played 2 matches, and then you had the kind of summer break, and there was definitely positives and negatives to it. But I don't know, it doesn't really concern me a whole pile.
Yeah, very good. And for yourself, you're probably one of the youngest captains out there across senior hurling championship. How's that dynamic?
Look, it's not too bad. I've been lucky enough to do it, kind of underage teams and school teams and things like that. So I don't really mind it. It doesn't really make a whole lot of difference to me. And you know, Lyle said it when he said it to me, and he said it to the group. You know, he could have picked anybody. You know, there's no, you know, everybody's equal on the team. There's no, you know, special spot or anything like that. So it doesn't really make a whole pile of difference to me, and I presume it doesn't make a whole pile of difference to anybody else either, really.
Great stuff, Shane. Thanks very much for that and best of luck in the championship.
But thanks, Paul.
We're continuing our build up to the Senior Hurling Championship here, which is just a few weeks away, and I'm joined by Cappataggle's James Egan to look ahead to their side's championship campaign. James, first off, how do you view coming into this year? Obviously, so close last year in that final against Loughrea.
I suppose, look, just touching on last year, I suppose at the time you're very disappointed that you don't get over the line. But when we look back now, from where we came from earlier in the championship, I suppose it was a really good year. We got some big wins. We got over a semi-final. Very disappointed not to win, but then again, it's progress. We've made progress. It's a different team to what it was a few years ago. So we've some really good young hurlers there at the moment, and I suppose so with a view to how are we look, spirits are like it's positive anyway. It's really positive. We have a really good management team in place, and they're putting us through our paces at the moment, and we're looking forward to the first round of the championship on the 10th of August.
Do you feel the league was good to you this year? You even really seem to have built on the form you showed last year, getting to that league final, just coming up short against Turlock in the end.
Yeah, I suppose. Look. I'd be wrong. We set out to get out. We set out to get into the knockout stages of the league this year. I think winning. You know, we often hear winning is a habit, but we tried. A lot of players played. You have different guys coming in and out every week. Though everyone got a good shot of game time, and I suppose it makes it competitive, and it was good. The league is league at the end of the day. You're looking to. It's better than playing challenge matches, and it's a step up from training as well. So the more games you have, the more competitive games you have, the better. But yeah, it has served as well. And it's good. It's good to be playing the Loughrea's. It's good to play Turlockmore in a final. I think they went 9 points up at one stage, but we stuck at it, and that was the big thing for us. And we were missing a few guys, missing the two Collinses actually that day, So, look, positives to be taken out of it, but at the end of the day, we didn't win the game. And there's loads of work ons, but look, all eyes on championship now. That's where we're looking for the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, just with that, obviously, Stephen has come back for another year over Stephen Craven, and Liam Donoghue has obviously departed the backroom team there. But any significant changes in the management team, or what's the turnover in the squad like this year for Cappy?
Turnover in the squad, we've added a few guys to the panel, a few young guys. even Dan Lawless is part of the panel now. Do you know, they're good lads. Obviously Lewis and Liam and Donegan, them guys are a year older. Do you know, and they got a good taste of senior hurling, a good run of it there in the last couple of years. So that's really good. Do you know? From a management perspective, I suppose Stevie, thankfully, is back in again. He's a guy that I suppose in 23 took on the job when, to be honest, nobody really wanted it and didn't see the potential. They thought our window had come and gone and closed, like, but he stuck with it. He's a great way with lads, and you know, we'll always give him the benefit of the doubt as long as they're putting in hard work. Liam Donoghue, look, Liam is a good guy as well. Like, and he coached us last year, and you know, along with Stevie, and we got to a county final. There's nothing more that can be said, like, you know. So Liam done really well with us, and we wish him the best of luck in the future. But no, Pádraig McHugh is, again, he's a local guy. He's selector, David Burns as well, and I suppose Damien Joyce has been added to the coaching staff. And sure, look, Damien Joyce is well known all over Galway. He's a really top class individual, I suppose, on and off the field, and someone everyone in the club looks up to. I suppose he set the standard over the years, and James Skehill, I suppose, followed through as well, you know, and they were part of that 17 All-Ireland winning team and backroom team. So they're I suppose Joycey coaching is we're privileged to have him, and really lucky. So look, they're putting us through the paces. Tough group, really tough group, you know. And it was probably going to be our next question. But yeah, tough group and tough day out, day one.
It is, even with you're thinking like obviously Sarsfields and Tommy Larkin's quite close to you there, and Warren Murray. It's a tough group. Like I don't think you can say much else about it.
Yeah, like you look at the three teams. Like there's like Tommy's have J.O. Flynn, the Murphys, you know, Conor Gardner. Like, they're all top class hurlers. The Coonies, then you look up the road, you're playing your neighbours, and Sarcy's, like, that was a massive game for us last year. Like that gave us a big boost last year. So like they're going to want, I suppose, what do you say, retribution for that. Like, but again, and Oran Moore are probably the most unluckiest team in senior hurling last year. They were 30 seconds away from topping the group. And Sarsfields do what Sarsfields do and score a goal, and they're going out of the championship. So, look, again, Gerard McInerney, Rory Burke, to name but a few. What's that guy that plays corner forward with the under 20s? Really scored 3 goals earlier. Anyway,
Ryan O'Donnell.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, Ryan O'Donnell, that's the guy. Really good hurler as well. Like, so, they have loads of potential. But look, we're not in a bad place. We need to keep improving. We need to keep training hard, and yeah, we need to put, again, it's put our best foot forward. And like, this is where you want to be this time of year. You want to be getting ready for championship, you know. So look, day one is Tommy Larkin's, really good club, small pick, no more than ourselves, and they are very, very competitive every year. So that's going to be a really tough challenge day one. So we won't be looking past that either.
Obviously, you had Liam come back to you this year, and then you had Michael Garvey go into the county setup. It was sort of one into the setup and one out. Obviously, going in there with Galway, but it's probably helped his development too, to experience inter-county experience too.
Yeah, look, Michael Garvey is top class hurler. To be honest with you, like, he's serious touch, like, and he is physically a big man, like, you know, but he's in great shape. He's really fit, and he's settled into that 6 role really well. Like, you know, I suppose Paul Claffey was there for a few years, like, and Claff went travelling. He's actually home at the moment as well, so that's, you know, he's knocking around the field again. Like, but Michael had big shoes to fill. Like, but in fairness to him, he is more than stepped up to the plate, and he had a great year last year, and he definitely deserved his call in. And I'm happy for him. Like, he's a good lad. Do you know what I mean? And but then, like, look, Liam decided he just it wasn't for, he wanted to step back this year, and that's okay too. Do you know what I mean? He's a young guy as well, and I suppose you have to, life is to be enjoyed as well. Like, and that inter-county bubble is not for the faint-hearted. Like, it's tough going, do you know. So all them players, they deserve great credit as well, and probably get stick at times that they don't deserve. So, but look, for Michael, I suppose there was great learnings in it. But he's come back to us now, and he's in a good place. So it's great. The two of them are, in fairness, they're good lads. They're good lads.
Is the aim to win the championship, James?
The aim is always to win the championship, even when you're not given any chance. The aim is to win the championship. But like, look, the first thing is you need to be fit. You need to be fit. You need to have a bit of a run without any major injuries. Like, lads going travelling, we're not doing too bad. And then once you can get that fitness up when you're hurling up, then you have to perform. And if you perform, you're giving yourself your best chance. And if you can get a bit of luck on the way, you just never know where it can go. But look, as I said before, we're not looking past Tommy Larkins. That's our first game. We need to put our best foot forward and try to get 2 points in the board.
Thanks very much for that, James, and best of luck in the championship.
Good man, Paul.
We're continuing our build-up to the Galway Senior Hurling Club Championship, which is just a few weeks away now, and I'm joined by Gort Senior Hurler Greg Lally to look ahead to their side's championship campaign. First off, Craig, how are preparations going?
Not too bad, Paul, yeah. It's probably getting to the nicer time of the year now where the hard slog is nearly done. A couple of weeks of championship, and I suppose the pre-season side of it, as you like, the second pre-season side of it is nearly done with the running and that sort of stuff. And look at this challenge games coming thick and fast. And yeah, prep is nearly done, I suppose, for most teams now. It's all about the running now for the next couple of weeks and getting prepared for the first round on the weekend of the 10th. And yeah, I suppose it seems like a while ago now since the first round of the league, back at the end of March or start of April, whenever it was. So, albeit we're still 3 weeks away from championship, or 2.5 weeks, it still feels like it's been a long year. Do you know what I mean? Whenever most clubs, I think we went back at the start of March, or definitely on the pitch, maybe the start of March, middle of March, and you know it's already whatever 4 or 5 months in. So, and we're still 2 weeks away from championship. But looking forward to now, Paul, and looking forward to club games get up and going around seeing them all, and the fun of the weekends for every second weekend.
How do you feel the league went for Gort?
We didn't have a great league, Paul. You know, we struggled a lot with numbers and stuff like that, and lads being away, and I suppose we had a few lads carrying knocks as well, so we were really struggling to get you know, 15 at times. You know, we'd only, like, you know, we were in Division 2 there and probably lucky enough to stay up for a finish. So look, we had a few lads travelling and stuff like that. We had lads like Ben was caught with the 20s. Jack was obviously gone with the seniors, and we had a few lads who didn't probably come back training until May or June side of things. And so look, we're at a stage at the minute where probably 80% of senior teams would be that you need everyone really to be competing. And just for ourselves, I suppose we were lucky we were down Division 2 because it was the level that we were at for the league anyway. But you know, probably going into most league games, maybe only 5 or 6 starters, and going with a lot of young lads. We were very lucky where we probably got maybe four minors from last year that have come through, and they've really helped us. They really helped us in the league, and albeit the 1 or 2 of them are actually come out of the league with injuries, and we haven't seen much of them from the league up to now. But they really helped us in the league, and there were 4 lads that we didn't have last year, and they definitely helped us get through some games, and yeah, very lucky that way, I suppose. But yeah, compared to last, I think it was whatever the last game we played against Mulla last year in that relegation final. I think for maybe 3 or 4 of the league games, we definitely had only about 5 of the starting team, so we're missing about 10 lads. So it's a big chunk for the likes of us, and for the likes of every team really. I think the only teams that really can probably handle missing that many players really is the likes of maybe the Clare Bridges or the Turlock Moors of the world, really. Maybe Sarsies along with them. They can produce big numbers and are probably fielding 4 and 5 senior teams. So, but other than that, really, it's a battle, really.
What's the turnover like in the squad this year, Craig? Have you been able to hold on to a good chunk of players from last year?
We have, yeah. Paul, I don't think there's many gone really at all. I suppose Mike Mullins played a lot for us last year. He was in Dubai. He's still in Dubai. He's going into his 3rd year teaching, or fourth year next year, I think, teaching. So Mike came back in mid-June last year, I think, maybe towards the end of June, and started training with us straight away. And he was with us all the way for the championship. He was flying over and back for matches. So he's probably the only lad that hasn't been around really as such, that hasn't fully committed. We still have, there's no other retirements really. Like, I suppose I'm the next one to go on that stage, but no, there's a lot of young lads coming through. Like, we got 4 this year. We're hoping to get 4 or 5 next year, and then we have our under-15 team that got beat by Crowell in the county final this year. We've a good chunk of lads hopefully coming from that. So we do have a lot of lads coming through, and hopefully very little lads going out the fair side. So on that side of things, the conveyor belt isn't too bad. But in terms of now at the minute, we just have the 32 or 3 players, and that's it really. Like, we don't, like, we feature at a junior. We're in junior B and we're in junior F, and we're doing well to field in both of those.
Change of management this year for you?
Change of management as such, yeah. Conor Hilbert is in as a selector with Paul Killalay, 2 former hurlers obviously with us for many years. Conor was kind of involved last year as a player. And then Brian Regan, who moved back from London last year, he also was involved last year in the background. He stepped up as manager this year. So yeah, 3 local lads, 3 lads that gave great service to the club. They're back involved now. And yeah, it's nice to have the lads. I suppose I would have heard many years with all 3 of them. So it's nice to have their input, and I suppose something different. We had David for 3 years. David Hooban did great work with us, in all fairness, and Ross Corbett last year from Cork. So Ross is moving back home. He lived in Gort. So yeah, something new, something fresh. And we've also got a trainer of ours from years ago, Patsy Fahey's on board as well. So he's done great work with us the last couple of weeks.
You're obviously drawn in the group with Mike Cullen, Athenry, and your neighbours, Thomas's again. What are the championship ambitions for Gort this year, do you feel?
Yeah, look, Paul, I suppose at the start of the year, you'd always be looking to get out of the group is the number 1 goal. Last year, I suppose, we had a very slow start. We lost to Tommy Larkins by 2 points, 2 or 3 points up until Bacon in the first round. We were very disappointed with that. We thought we underperformed. Went into the Clymer Daly game, and we knew it was a massive game for us, leading into, obviously, with Thomas's again in the group in our last game. And of course, they were going for the 7 in a row last year, and they were the leading team. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. We probably maybe pinpointed Clymer Daly as a game that we needed to win. Played very poorly in the second half in that game, and going into the last game, we still had a chance to come out against Thomas's, and probably produce our best performance here against St. Thomas's in the 3rd game, and unfortunately just come up short for the last minute goal. So ended up in the relegation. It's probably the last place obviously any team wants to be, but definitely when we sat down at the start of the year as a group, we didn't want to end up there with 1 point after 3 group games, which we were deservedly there. So look, I suppose heading into this year, Paul, we don't want to rerun of last year. We want to probably, with St. Thomas's in the first game again, go at it from the very start, and hopefully, end up in a preliminary quarter-final or a quarter-final, and just don't end up in the relegation semi-final like we were last year. I suppose that's the number 1 goal.
Just finally then, Greg, on the structure of the season, the way it is, Galway Club Hurling Championship obviously not getting underway until the 2nd week of August. And then for the majority of the championship, it's going to be every 2nd week. You might have one case where you might have 2 fixtures back-to-back 2 weeks in a row as the championship progresses. But do you feel that structure is working?
I think the championship structure in itself, Paul, is probably not bad. Every 2nd week, look, we are what we are as a county. I think it's very strong football and very strong hurling split down the middle, and you have to give each week to each code. So I don't have anything against the actual structure of the championship. I I think we've spoke about this, Paul, in the past, and we've had conversations about it. I suppose where the problem lies is that when the league finishes, like for us, we finished the league on the Friday of the bank holiday weekend in June, which was actually May. I think it was the 30th of May or something like that. It was a Friday. We played Ballindereen in our last game, and we were out of the league. So we were out of the league on the 30th of May, and we don't play the first round championship until the 10th of August. So, and that was the case for any other team that didn't make a league semi-final. So to me, it's just a very long wait. I think we took a week off or 10 days off, and then you're going back at it again, and you're nearly doing another pre-season to get fit for, say, the 4 or 5 challenge matches you play over these weeks where you're getting ready for the first round of the championship. And I suppose not that it's soul destroying, but it's almost like the old way that we were given out about, where back in 10, 15 years ago when you play 2 games in April and then you take a break and then the championship restarts again when the Galway hurlers are knocked out. And I suppose that was grand a few years ago, but I thought the whole point of the split season was that goes away, and the club hurler isn't as the sacrifice isn't as big for the year. But to me, the sacrifice is just as big. Like, and for the likes of Thomas's players who have been playing county final after county final after county final, they go back in February or whenever they go back, or any team that's in a semi-final, Loughrea for a long time or anything like that. We did our own run for many years where we played in a lot of county semi-finals and finals in a row. You're on for 9 or 10 months of the year, 11 months of the year. And then if you win the county championship, which is great, and I know it doesn't bother you when you win, but you're all year round. So if you look at the likes of the Davy Burks or ever like that, who's won a lot of county championships, they don't get a break. They get 2 weeks of a break in the year. And I think the county board need to look at that. And I think the only way around that, Paul, is delaying the league. And I know that mightn't suit everyone, because if you're out of the championship, just say for us, we were out of the championship in the end of September last year. And if you're delaying the league until April, it's a long time without hurling. But it gives the club player a chance to do a lot with their time. Do you know what I mean? And like maybe you go back a bit later to training, the league gets closer to the championship for finishing up, and it feels like a shorter season, and players aren't getting the burnout is the big thing really. Like, players aren't feeling the burnout from it.
Yeah, I know in the Football League they had the 8-team league, and then top 4 would go into the knockouts, bottom 4 would go in. So you'd be guaranteed essentially 8 games. And the league finals for that finished at the start of July, so it was only a 3-week lead in then to championship, which actually worked very well. I know from speaking to different clubs, there's been a real struggle to get challenge matches as well over the last few weeks. So it's definitely something maybe the county board could look at there. That's all we do time for. Craig, thanks a million for coming on, and best wishes in the championship.
Cheers, Paul.